My name is Eddie C, and welcome to my positive podcast. I'll bring you positive stories of people from all walks of life because everyone has a story to tell. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to MPP, my positive podcast. And I'm your host, Eddie C, and this is episode number 32. I hope you all have had a fine time the last couple of weeks, and I've been pretty busy, I must admit, between my photography and still performing here and there in small combinations as well as large combinations. Of course, I'm doing a lot of stuff that I enjoy, and that's a lot of fun to be able to do that because it takes a lot of energy, but it gives also a lot of energy back to you. Anyway, I've got a very special guest, as always. And this time my guest is actually from the Philippines, and she's living in Bonn, but together with her family of 5 kids and her husband, they have this restaurant in Antwerp called the Pilgrim House, and she'll tell you more about that in a few minutes. So if you're ready to hear her story, sit back, relax, and stay positive. My name is Eddie C, and you're listening to My Positive Podcast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my guest for this episode is a very lovely lady I had the pleasure of meeting almost a year ago here in Antwerp. She's originally from the Philippines. She's an entrepreneur. She's into social art, public health assistant. She's actually living in Germany with family, but they have a wonderful restaurant in Antwerp called the Pilgrim House, which is a fantastic place if you ever get to Antwerp to check out. Please welcome my guest, Miss Joan John. How you doing?
Hey, hi, good morning, Eddie. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast, and I'm very pleased to be part of this.
Great. Can you tell my audience a little bit more about you? Because I just mentioned a few things, but can you go a little bit more in depth about your background and how you ended up in Germany, for example?
Yeah, sure. So I've always wanted to serve my country as a public health expert, which initially was rooted from my dream as a kid to become a doctor. But when a disaster happened, a big one in my country way back 1992, when Mount Pinatubo erupted, which actually devastated a huge airspace back then. And so I was part of the team that responded to that. And so then I built my career as a public health expert and development expert, working for communities, doing projects. And then eventually I met my husband, Chris, and we got married, and then we decided to move to Germany. And that's how me and my family came to Germany, here in Europe.
Fantastic. You have 5 children, right?
Yes. We're blessed with 5 wonderful kids.
Fantastic, yeah.
Who are now in their 30s, right? So
Right.
The youngest is 22. Yeah.
If people see you, you wouldn't think that at all.
Oh, wow.
Tell us a little bit more about how did the whole Pilgrim House come about here in Antwerp? Because you were based in Bonn, basically, and now you have this wonderful, authentic, special restaurant here in Antwerp. It's amazing.
Oh, and thanks for the compliment. To share, it's simply about love. It's all about love, Pilgrim House, the name itself, pilgrims, which means we are people who journey. We are strangers in this world, so to say, but we do journey hand in hand together. We build friendship. So it's all about love. And that's what the restaurant wanted to share. Good food, great drinks, great cocktails, but above all, music, art, a story. It's our story, a communal story. And it's all about love. So.
Okay, fantastic. But of all places, how did you come about to choose Antwerp?
Well, then again, it roots back to the story of love, because my son, Paul, and his friend, they fell in love, and then they asked me, hey, would you like to do this restaurant together? Then I look at the place because I fell in love actually with the building. It's a 150-year-old building here in Antwerp. And to be honest, I fell in love with Antwerp too. So my son, Paul, would turn me around, describe to me the paintings and work of Rubens. But what I really observed were the people, the true treasures of the city are actually the beautiful heart warm-hearted people, readily willing to speak to you in English. Of course, my German is not that good, and as well to even offer, any kind of gesture of favor, like even saying like, "Hey, I have an extra bag here, so would you like to take it so you can put your grocery stuff into it?" I said, "Oh wow!" So I fell in love with Antwerp, and I thought like, "Wow, the street Pelgrimstraat is a wonderful street and the building itself." So then when they asked me, "Would you like to do this restaurant together?" I said, "Yes, no doubt about it. Let's do it."
Okay. How does that work with you? Because, of course, your husband, Chris, he's a diplomat, right?
Yeah, he kind of like worked in the diplomatic circle, being in the international development. He is a political scientist himself. And right now he's in Ghana actually for his next line of mission or assignment. He just started there last month. Yeah, but yeah, there you go.
The all world travelers. That's quite amazing. You said you have this concept. It's basically a little bit of everything. I remember the first time I walked in and came there was actually via friends of mine. When I walked in, I was like quite amazed to see just like nothing I've seen before here in Antwerp. It had a sort of a exotic kind of tropical atmosphere and a little bit of everything. It was artistic. And so I was very curious. And I remember speaking with your oldest son, John, and we spoke about it, and he was right away, we kind of like connected. And when we actually spoke to each other a little bit later at one point, you were busy making sure everything was in order. For me, it was a real nice place to go to. It is basically one of my hangout places now that I go to here in Antwerp. How does that work? You got the whole family is involved. So can you tell a little bit about the task of everybody?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, indeed. Oh, my goodness. I always say my gulay. Gulay means vegetables. It's like a mix of vegetables, right? Because like John became like the cocktail expert. John himself studied franchise management for restaurant in Germany. And it has always been his field of interest, aside from photography and all. Rafaela did her interior design, interior architecture degree in Germany as well. Paul is into history, philosophy, and languages. And myself is into nutrition, being a public health person. So when we put the team together, so basically it's just like having the entire family bringing their talent and their interest to making it come true into a restaurant. We do have the mechanics as a gastronomy, and then later on, Roman, a chef, a real very good chef from Germany, joined the team. He fell in love with Rafael.
Oh, yeah. Richard Otter, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's all how it happened. And our partner, Jonas, who is also into gastronomy here in Antwerp, been doing that since in his 20s and still up to the present time own a restaurant in Turnhout. So somehow it feels like it's a constellation made in heaven, right? Like, hey, as you said, like we do not have to put extra more effort because we got it. All we need to do is come together, form a team, and do it. Basically, that's just what it is. And the secret is like we told ourselves, okay, each detail is important as the whole picture. So this is kind of like the kind of guide that we always do in rendering our work. But then at the same time, we say like, hey, do excellent work and share it. So the sharing part is when the food comes to the table, when the drink mixed by our mixologist, John, comes on the glass and served with fantastic flavors, all natural.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, with all his botanicals and organics and spices into it. And then Rafaela with her interior design and love for art and expression. There you go. You see it all around. It's a combination truly of all our travels as well, but believing in diversity, respect of cultures. We believe Antwerp is a center point in our life now where we can manifest this dream and belief and philosophy.
Antwerp is definitely a multicultural city, and I love the city as well. I've been now living more towards the center part of the city since 2019, and discovering new places to see and exhibitions and art and entertainment. It's an amazing city, and also the food culture is is very international as well.
Yes, indeed. Wow, wow, really. And in fact, the guests who visit and chance upon the restaurant, they would go and say like, wow, this is an unforgettable experience of dining. And when you came and sang songs, wonderful songs together with your band, oh my God, it filled the house with music. And this is exactly how would you say, our feelings wanted to just explode. We wanted to share this. We wanted to share this with everyone, with our clients, our guests, our friends. It's a moment. It's a moment we'd like to share with each other. So the philosophy of the pilgrims being like we travelers, strangers, holding hand in hand to build a community, believing in something good and making it happen. So we believe a restaurant such as the Pilgrim House is a vehicle for it. It's a meeting point where guest becomes friends. So our philosophy here is friends serving friends. So that's all what we wanted to give. Yes.
Well, I would recommend to my listeners internationally who, whenever you come to Antwerp, it's definitely a must-go-to place. And you won't be sorry, that's for sure. We were talking the other day, about a week ago, when I spoke with you, how the world is starting to change with a lot of things. And of course, we're getting less organic in our lifestyles and a lot of things are going digital. But I know that you're more for the organic approach of things, just like me as well. Mm-hmm. And I know this is one of the concepts that you have with the Pilgrim House, but your time that you were, that you did with your social art, can you tell a little bit more about that?
Oh, yeah, sure. Being part of the social artistry movement, it started off in when I met Dr. Jean Houston back then in the year 2005 in Manila. So she's a founder of this movement, and she was part of the university in Oregon in Portland in the United States. And so I was given the chance to be part of a leadership training. And she said, Joan, you must be there. I could see it. You got to be there. You got to be present. So though the time I was very busy, in fact, because I was in Manila, also having a little factory on producing dried mango rolls or the all-natural organic dried mangoes, healthy fruit snack for kids and everyone. That was the slogan, right? So it was just in its incubation phase. So that would take a little while till we get onto the market. But that time we were already in schools like the European school, the health clubs, and some grocery stores in Manila. And we wanted to bring it also to Europe back then and to Germany, to United States. So some samples were sent, but it was still at its very primary stage, which we call incubation period. But then I was invited to join Oregon training for leaders on social artistry, which basically is who we all are. We are all social artists. And whatever we can contribute to our community is based on our talents, our desires, our wishes, which is all for the common good. So doing what is common good and that desire stemming from our heart, our mind, and making it happen is actually the art, the loving hands.
I know collaboration is a very important thing for you. I see that in how you work with your family and how everything all together, how I see when you're talking with other people and spoken about doing some collaboration, which is wonderful. And it brings a city closer together as well. So that's a wonderful initiative that you have in doing that.
If we want to make a better place, we can't do it alone. We can only all do it together, right?
Absolutely.
And that begins right here with us. They said, like, if you want to make change, begin with oneself, right? So you got to start evaluating, hey, what is it truly that I want, right? And so then the whole flow of thinking and emotions would reveal itself. And then eventually you would find yourself, hey, I don't want to be alone. I want to do this together with a friend. And, then later on, it continued to roll on. And as they said, it only takes a spark and the light can keep going if you pass it around.
Well, that was one of the things that attracted me to coming back to Pilgrim House because, of course, the first time I came there, it was to meet you all and talk about doing a performance, actually at that time with my duo. And eventually that did happen. And I remember I promised you all if I played there, I would fill the place up. And that was a win-win for all of us.
That was so cool, really. It was the first time, like, wow, the house was filled with music, and we were like saying, like, yeah, this is what we want. And from that point on, Ed, you just really here, edge in a heart.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Outside of the Pilgrim House, I know that you're now talking about doing some special events, and you're doing some remodeling upstairs on the top floor, so that you can have meetings. And I think you mentioned something, you want to have like matinee concerts and people that do small seminars. Can you tell a little bit more about that, the idea behind that?
Yep. Thank you, Ed. Yep. Part of the philosophy is to open possibility to tell a story. So we got to be good storytellers right here, because there are many issues that we can talk about, like climate change, no to plastics, and which would gear up the future for our children and the future generation to conserve what's good about Earth, right? Being our home, the home of humanity. Okay, we're kind of like thinking big, but we think like we can do it locally in a small room where we can meet people. So like on the 31st of March, there will be a photography vernissage about Myanmar from our friend. And at the same time, an artist, a musician, Flavio, would play tango music. He holds a doctor's degree in the Conservatory of Music. That was his degree. And he's a composer, and he specializes in tango music. And he's from Argentina. So we say like the meeting of cultures, or the crossing of cultures.
Right.
It's basically like Myanmar, Argentina, what's common? The common thing is the uniqueness of each culture. We got to respect that diversity. We got to enjoy that. So part of that is to also provide for a room, a forum, a podium where people can share their story. So many more can happen within this frame of collaboration or exchange of, basically, which is social artistry itself.
I remember you saying that collaborating, that being a key factor, not only within your way of approaching people from outside, but how you approach your family as well.
Yeah, yeah, because you see, Ed, as a mom, each of my kids, they do have their own personality. Everybody knows that. And the only way to really bring that to the light is to allow them to express it. And I can only watch from the back. As you said, sometimes I'm just like hiding there at the backstage, observing, because I also revel into the being amused of what they can do by themselves at this point in time, right? Whether it's a cocktail, creating a bouquet of flowers or so, right? Or creating a dish on the plate, or the dessert, for example. So to me, it's lovely. It's so lovely to watch a person be who they are. It's a gift to observe that. It's a moment to cherish. And so having this in my mind, in my heart, I thought like, King Arthur said it's a round table. So we got to do it like a round table approach. There's no hierarchy here. I am as equal as the others, and others are as equal as I am. And that's how we want to go forward, not only as a family, as a team here, a management team, but also as a people. When we reach out to other people as well, we are equal. There's no one higher. There's no one higher. That is the beauty of life. That is the beauty of living. And when one can truly see that and experience the joy, the freedom that it gives us, I believe happiness is just within us. We don't even have to find it. We just have to express it. And it took a while because we are educated. We were educated to believe in hierarchy. But as time goes by, I realize there is no hierarchy in life, because we are truly all equal. Each is as beautiful as the other. There's no one more beautiful or less. Each has its gift. And when we put that together, like the diversity of nature, the ecology of Mother Nature already show us that. A lion is a lion, while a tiger is a tiger, right? In the same way as an ant is not a grasshopper. I mean, each carries within themselves the genetic manifestation of the divine to be unique and contribute that uniqueness to the overall ecology for sustainability of life. So it applies not only in Mother Nature, but also among us, especially among us human beings, within family, among friends, even in an organization. It is important to see the value of each and every contribution. The rest, the rules, the protocols, all that, these are just tools for making decisions, tools to keep us united, in fact, not to put us in discourse. No, we do have different opinions in solving a matter, but that's why it's called different opinions, because not only one opinion can hold the answer to such complicated issues of life. That's like cooking a dish. You cannot just cook chicken with chicken, right? Even if you fry chicken, you still need salt, pepper, and oil. I mean, come on.
You need to have the ingredients to make it taste good. That's right. Yeah. Well, very wise words. You know, like I said, being a mom, how was that like growing up, you know, raising them up? That's a unique experience.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, moms out there, I know every mom has a story to tell. But oh my God, yeah, the first thing is like when they were born, my philosophy as a person is love is transferred through the touch, the physicality. So my mind was always in a prayer mode somehow. So I told myself, like, love can flow through my hands to my child, and my child will feel it, and the protection will be felt. So I embraced my baby when John, for example, was born. And with the power from the warmth of the hand of love as a mom, I gave it to him. And I told myself, we're going to fight too someday. We will have different viewpoints in life and we will argue a lot. And we do. And we did. But this moment I'm giving you, my little one, it will keep your core strong. And that's the core of love. So they say love is a big word, but yes. And at the same time, when you feel you care for someone, something, or even a plant, especially to my own child, that's love already. The good intention is love already. So that's how it is. That was my simple formula. And then the rest is fun. The rest is music, Disney. Oh, wow. We love watching Disney. Have to know.
Fantastic. Well, I'm always amazed whenever I go there. It's sort of like an organized chaos at times. I guess you can say. It's also the charm that makes the formula work, you know, and
that's really the challenge. Sometimes I would shake my head and I said, how did it all happen like this? But something I just told myself, I did it right the first time. I hugged them with love. With love. Oh, okay. I passed it already. So whatever happens, I should be fine, all right?
Absolutely. No, it's really a fantastic concept and a place. And I know a lot of people from different countries are coming there because you also have a couple of international staff members outside of the family working there as well.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, indeed. Aside from ourselves being also mixed, right? Mm-hmm. Filipino-German, for example, Sophia also. Roman, for example, he's grown in Russia. His mom is German, his dad Russian. So this kind of combination. Annelien, Belgian, from the Flandern area, region of Belgium. And Karel from Guatemala and Belgian dad, for example. So we're also all a mixed group of people. So that's just a global
It
citizen.
just all comes together. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fantastic. That's fantastic.
and more coming, more from other countries. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because you're a grandmother as well now. Because John has a son.
Oh, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
a
Yeah.
little. Was it son or
Yeah.
daughter?
Yeah. Danica is a
A
daughter.
daughter. Has a
She's
daughter.
six.
Yeah,
Right?
has a
Yeah.
daughter.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. John has a daughter, Danica. Wonderful little one. Mom of Danica is Thai, who grew up in Germany. So that alone, again, is an expression of different cultures and people from different parts of the world. Yes.
Oh well. I have one more question for you. Being part of a pilgrimage, which also fits the theme of the restaurant that you have. What advice would you like to give to people, and especially young people out there today that may listen to this podcast and want to become a little bit more involved in collaborating?
Oh, thanks. Yes. And to the children, to the future generation, as I always say, the future stands on our shoulders. Our children, Ed, they stand on our shoulders. I ask myself, why? So then they can look farther and beyond. What I cannot see, they're standing on my shoulder, far taller than I am. But then they look back to me and say, like, Mom, this is what I can see. So I can see the future through my children too. In the same manner, they could see farther when they stand on my shoulders. And but to my children, I always encourage them to think outside the box, to be thinkers outside the box. And one nice thing I can say to them is like, imagine another viewpoint. Another viewpoint. So standing on one shoulder is another viewpoint. I don't see it. But if they tell me back mutually, it's a win-win, huh? So the real deal is a win-win deal. This is difficult because people tend to be self-centered. This is our education. This is how our society contoured us or deformed us, if I may say. Yeah, but come to think of it, but if we track on the win-win deal in any business or any relations,
Right.
but to me, the true hallmarks of any relation is honesty and respect. When we are honest and when we respect one another, these are the hallmarks of relations. So these are the important values that I believe could be also necessary and core to stand on.
Are there any last words you want to say, more or less tell my listeners about how you foresee, let's say, the nearby future, and in regards also to what you're doing with your different projects and everything?
Yeah, please come by, visit the Pilgrim House here in Antwerp. Antwerp is a lovely city. They said Pilgrim House is also a unique place to visit. We're trying our best. We're doing our best. And yeah, check us out at Google Map reviews. They call it the Pilgrim House Antwerp. And yeah, we're new. We're new in town. And please, always just do it with love. That's all. Do it with love.
Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story and telling a bit about your family and the things that are very important to you, and for all about how collaboration, how you view that in your perspective. Wonderful. And wishing you and the family a lot of love and success in the future.
Thank you so much, Ed. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity to share a piece of my life.
This is MPP, and I'm Eddie C. Well, I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Joan and how she collaborates together with a lot of people and, of course, with her family. Now, let's take the word collaboration and talk about it for a minute. When you hear the word collaboration, it's a pretty large word, even a mouthful to say. And I guess it's kind of like bringing a lot of things together and making it work. So to collaborate, coming together, creating something with different ideas and making it all become one main idea that becomes successful in one way or the other. And on those words, here's my quote. Collaboration. The will to others and work together. Taking the time to communicate ideas and passions. Giving the freedom of feelings and expression. Joyful moments when a plan comes together. Revitalizing the community to new achievements. Creative dreams made to come true by creative people and positive ideas. Well, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen, for this episode. I want to just thank everybody for tuning in and following me these last couple of years, and I hope you continue to do so. And I will keep trying to bring new and interesting guests to you that normally would never get a chance to tell their story. So if you're interested, you can also contact me via my Facebook page or via my website. And who knows, maybe you'll be on one of my shows. I want to thank my guest, Joan John, for coming on and sharing her stories with me and with you all. And remember, collaboration is much more than just a word. Until next time. You can find me on all platforms like Spotify, Android, and Apple. On Facebook, look for My Positive Podcast. And my website is mypositivepodcast.com. You can also contact me via my website or Facebook. A very special thanks to my technical producer, Iswan. This show is a production by Antwerp Podcast Service. My name is Eddie C., and this was MPP, My Positive Podcast. Tune in next time and stay positive.